If there's one person that I think everybody's talking about coming out of this tournament, it's the head coach of Denver, David Carle. He was the head coach of the World Junior team for Team USA. He wins the World Junior gold medal, and then he wins his second national title. He is 34 years old. Now, we've got a great feature on FloHockey.tv that you can see exclusively there. We talked to David Carle last summer that we talked to him. He was taking recruiting calls. He was doing all this stuff. And he sat down with us for an interview to talk about the World Junior Championship and his career as a whole. And if you don't know the David Carle story, it's pretty famous. But just to recap quickly, he went to the NHL scouting combine as a draft hopeful. He was playing at Shattuck St. Mary's. He was a highly regarded player, expected to be drafted in the NHL. They found an abnormality when they were doing their medical testing. They find out that he has a heart condition that will basically force him to retire at 18 years old. The University of Denver honored his scholarship. They brought him along with the team. He started as a student manager, then was a student coach, a graduate assistant, gets his first full-time job in the USHL with the Green Bay Gamblers. It wasn't very long that Jim Montgomery got the job at Denver, and everybody sang the praises of David Carle, and David Carle was back on the Denver bench as an assistant. So he's been an assistant for a national championship and a head coach for two. Jim Montgomery, of course, has now been in the NHL for multiple years, having coached the Dallas Stars and now the Boston Bruins, and helped them win a President's Trophy last year. So that is the coaching tree. And the other guy that David Carle worked for was Derek Lalonde at the Green Bay Gamblers in the USHL. He's now the head coach of the Detroit Red Wings. So you look at David Carle and you say, this guy is the future of NHL coaching. This is a guy that is going to have a tremendous career. And he's already done it. At 34 years old, 2 national titles. And really, you look at Denver, and aside from Zeev Buium, they tend not to get that high-level first-round draft prospect. They get them sometimes. They get guys like, Paul Stastny. They get guys like Matt Carle back in the day, David's brother. They get other players, but it's not as much as like a BC or a Michigan or a BU where they're continually getting those guys. But every guy that leaves Denver seems to leave Denver better than they arrived. And I think that's true of Zeev Buium. You look at the development that he's had this year, you say, he was a very good defenseman last year for the U18 team, but he came into this season, not a lot of people believed he was a first-round draft prospect. Now he's a top 5 draft prospect. It's incredible. So the job that David Carle has done at Denver, truly remarkable. He will be a big-time coaching candidate in the NHL, and I think he's really going to be able to pick his spot when the opportunity arises. I don't think he's going to jump at the first job that becomes available. I don't think he's going to jump at necessarily the first thing that he's offered even. I just think that he's going to make sure that he finds the right fit. He's a young guy. He's still younger than some of the guys in the NHL right now. And so that's going to be a great thing for him. But David Carle, congratulations to him. Congratulations to the Denver Pioneers. 10 national titles, more than any program in history. And if you talk to any of those players, any of those coaches, anybody that works there, getting number 10 was on their mind the whole time of this playoff run. They played the absolute, one of the most dominant in terms of their defensive and goaltending play that we've seen. One of the most dominant runs to a national title in recent memory. Truly remarkable. Congratulations to the Pioneers.